traditionally, women have had to rely on men to be the provider. We kind of talked about this yesterday. But these days, women they're doing their own thing these days, right? Women, a lot of them have been told, don't rely on a man. You don't need no man. You don't need no man to pay your bills. Don't be that dude, right? Women are empowered. They're going to school more than ever. They're getting education more than ever. They're paying their own bills more than ever. It's all that. What's the song from the girl, Sweetie? That's my best friend. She a real bad bitch. She got her own money.
Yeah.
She don't. It's like, this is the type of indoctrination that women, yes, my best friend, this whole thing, right? So I guess my question is, do women want a man or do women need a man? That's a question that I want to kind of figure out today. Who wants to, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go.
You want a man or you need a man?
I think that the question is a quality of life question. Can I survive by myself? Yes. Would that be a good quality of life? Absolutely not. It would be miserable. I also think that the language around woman empowerment is so condescending. Like boss babe, you can do it yourself. It's like you're talking to a baby.
Yeah, but
you can do it.
You started it.
Could you imagine if we were doing that though? Hey, but I'm an independent man.
Yeah.
Adam, I'm gonna be an independent man.
I'm a boss man.
I'm a boss man tonight.
I don't need no woman. I pay my own bills. I got my own nails done.
How about
I did my own hair today, Michael.
Let me pull up in this Rolls and I won't say. How about I do that instead? You know what I'm saying?
But to your credit, I see what you're saying. It is a little condescending. Yeah. I'm willing to bet that women made up those terms, not men.
I don't dispute that at all. Okay. I think that the modern feminist movement is the cause of a lot of sexism,
100%.
both directed at men and women, which is why I had a really hard time letting go of the term feminist, because obviously I want women to be empowered into whatever, but I find that it just does not fit how I feel. And there was one more point that I wanted to make. Oh, the older that I get and the more I grow into being a woman, the more I become like a monkey, basically. I realize how much of a monkey I really am.
What do you mean by that?
And I mean that my brain chemistry is the same as the brain chemistry as my ancestors, the monkeys. And so as I grow up, all I really want to do, I have no career ambitions. All I want to do, like we were talking about this, a small, modest house that I can clean easily, a big-ass garden. I want to grow vegetables. I want a beehive so I can have my own honey. And I want to sit there sipping tea.
Things, but yeah, I get the point.
I mean, like primitive.
For sure.
Primitive values.
Cave woman.
So I think that the problem that we're having right now with society is that both for men and women, we're being told to go against our nature. Mm-hmm. We're not being encouraged to just accept. And it's okay if a woman wants to be in the military. I was a medic. I didn't do anything crazy or anything. But it's okay if you want to be a little bit more masculine, a little bit more feminine, but you can also embrace the role that was, and for the longest time I was rebelling against who I am to try and appease this feminist idea of I can work and I can be independent. Yeah, I can. I proved that to myself, but I'm going to be miserable.
I want to pinpoint one thing when you said you were rebelling against more traditional roles into more current feminine roles.
Yeah.
What was that nuanced ideology that you were conflicted about?
Well, with me, I feel like there wasn't much of a choice because I grew up in a very religious area that I needed to break out of regardless.
Yeah.
But I think that there's this, I hate that I'm using this language because it just shows how far I've gone from one end to the other, but there's a huge feminist lie that you're going to be happy as if you have a career and if you are a boss babe and I don't want to be a pick me girl. That's not why I'm saying this. If you want to have your career, you go for it. But I noticed for myself that I was doing that against my nature.
When you say pick me girl, define that. I've heard that term a bunch.
Yeah, I mean there are some girls out there that will say things just to please men.
Pick me. Okay.
And so maybe that's why for
against
me,
their own interests or against their own beliefs, just to get
I would
picked?
say, here's a great example, no shade, but some of the girls on Fresh and Fit, for example, will blindly agree with anything that they're being told so that they don't get abused, verbally abused or whatever, or kicked out or whatever. So that's pick me is just, maybe I'm saying it wrong, I don't even know, but I'm not going to have an opinion just because I want to be accepted.
Gotcha.
This is my actual opinion.
Here's where Rebecca is going to shine right now because she's the reason I'm going to cue you up. One of the most memorable moments of me doing this entire show, is actually with you. And I'll tell you why. Because you were a former boss babe, CEO, feminist. You said you shaved your head, the whole thing.
Blue hair, green hair, pink hair.
The whole thing, right? And I found that out in the first show that we did together. And then you had a realization, an epiphany. You've completely turned your life around. You focused on more your relationship. You're happily married. but one of the more memorable moments was when you were describing that. You let out this like literal like this sigh of relief.
Yeah.
And it was like I felt it so much, and I was like, oh, that feeling must feel so good as a woman. That sigh of relief where it's like, you're like, Jesus, take the wheel, like my man, take over.
Yeah.
What is that feeling like? What are your thoughts?
I took the mask off. I took the mask of being this, literally what you explained was my life. I was fighting and constantly battling my internal nature, and I was crying at home every day of my life. And I'm like, I am miserable. I don't know why I do this to myself. I hate myself. I hate everything that I'm doing. But if I don't do it, I'm not going to be a part of the sisterhood. I'm not going to be that feminist. I'm not going to be that boss babe that everyone's relying on me to be. And then when I stopped that and I took the mask off and I'm like, I can just be myself, and myself is good enough. And that was the biggest aha moment of my entire life, is like, I can breathe. I don't have to battle. I don't have to get in the trenches. I don't have to do everything that I was told that I had to do. And that was one of the biggest moments of my life. And that relief is what I feel all the time. My husband provides for our family. It is the best feeling in the world when he can come home and have a hot meal, and I get satisfaction and joy and fulfillment when he's like, babe, this is the best like chicken Alfredo you've ever made. It's that moment. It's like I am here. This is what I was supposed to be doing. And when my daughter looks at me in the morning and smiles and laughs, she's 9 months old now, and I'm like, I get to see her grow up every single day. That feeling I would never get. I raised a crap ton of money. I had people that worked for me. As a man, that's your purpose, right? And that's a good feeling. But for me, that was like, okay, I got the accolades. I was in Forbes. I was in Huffington Post. Like, I don't care. Like, literally, I'm miserable at home. And I'm single and I'm childless. And at that point, I was like, I really want to be married. I really want to have kids. And it was a real big shift in my life. It's like, I've been telling everyone that I didn't want kids and that I was repulsed by children, that I was repulsed by marriage. And now I have to eat my words. And that was like that moment in my life. I'm like, shit.
When was the changing point for you? Like, when did you realize?
There was
what was the shift?
It was 28. Rollo talks about this all the time, the epiphany phase, that like build up, right? It's when you've experienced the world, you've lived in it, and it's like that. Like, you going out, I think Nat was explaining, you go out, you have fun, you do all. I'm like, I've been there, done that. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm hanging up my hat. I've been there, done that. I've traveled to 30 plus countries. I've seen the world. Like, I've done it all, right? And it's like, the only thing that I want and desire is getting married and having children. And the best feeling in the world is waking up and knowing that I am secure, I am safe, I have tranquility, I don't have to worry about things the same way that I used to worry. Like, I used to worry about paying my rent all the time.
Yeah, that's really stressful, I'm sure.
Like, literally.
That must be hard.
No, seriously, no, because like I understand.
I worry still.
It. Like, seriously, I do get it.
Or like, how do I present this to the boardroom and my investors when they're saying, well, you didn't make any gains here, or you need to pivot. And I would cry after my investor meetings when they would literally just have a normal conversation with me, and I'd be like, I'm not good enough. I'm not here. Like, this is not me. And I would cry, like, leaving the investor meetings, be like,
now, Rebecca, like, by the way, how amazing is her story? By the
sorry.
way. But do you think that there's rules and there's exceptions?
Yeah.
Do you think that what happened with you is the exception?
No.
Or the rule? Meaning, most women don't want to be in that role. Most women don't want to be in these board meetings and raising capital and working their ass off, and they're not fulfilled that way. Or is that more of a you thing?
I think that it gets to a certain point. Just like you said, I had a chip on my shoulder. I had to prove. I had to rebel against the machine, the whatever it is, right? I had to rebel against my traditionalism.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, and
The
like,
patriarchy, you said?
yeah, like
Yeah,
the,
with quotations,
I mean,
though.
I'm Brazilian. I'm first generation American. Both my parents immigrated here. My mom stayed at home. My dad was a business owner. He was very successful before he passed away. My parents stayed together. They through everything, right? Through it all, the good, the bad. And when I was younger, I didn't understand why, right? And it got to a point where right before my dad passed away, he was like, Rebecca, I would never leave your mom because, one, I loved her. Even though everything else, I love your mom. And just the fact that he said, I could never leave you guys. I could never make that switch and be like, I'm going to abandon my family. And when I heard that, I was like, it's all about the family. It's all about your unit. It's all about protecting and working towards that goal. And when I look at my husband, we are working towards the same goal. We have different roles. We have different expertises. My husband is the head of our household. I am the neck. You can't turn the head without the neck. Right? He's the CEO. He's the everything. I report to him.
You're the COO. What would you say your role is?
I'm the manager of the house. He's the head of the house. I'm the manager. I oversee the little tasks.
So when you hear the phrase "men lead, women follow,"
I would
full on believe in
I
that?
gladly follow.
Brody, is that something that you would agree with? Men lead, women follow?
I think that in certain areas, yes, and in
Yeah.
other areas, no.
Gotcha. What about you, Fosh?
I definitely agree. I mean, I definitely feel like men are the head of household. In the same breath, there are women behind that are dabbling, making little adjustments and telling the man, and then the man is the front, and he's saying such and such to others. You know
Can
what
I
I'm
add,
saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
to say that men are the head of the household when in a traditional household, men are not spending most of their time in the household. Maybe
But
that's why I have a bit of a aversion to saying men lead, women follow. Men are responsible for keeping the household afloat. Women are responsible for making sure it's a home
It's a home.
and it's
I-
somewhere to
yeah.
come back to. It's worth.
My husband-
It's like men are responsible for the financial side of things.
yeah, and
Well,
that's
to use a football
without
analogy,
that,
I know
there's
Michael,
nothing.
you appreciate this. So, is the husband the general manager, the owner of the team, but the woman is the coach? She's calling the
that could be
plays,
it. I mean,
day-to-day
any
operations.
of those things, or the husband could be the chairman of the board, and the wife could be the CEO. That's another way to look at it, right?
Yeah.
And the point I'm trying to make is I've never tried. Man, I have some friends that are out in these streets, girls that are doing OnlyFans, crazy, wild shit, and they tell me stories, and I'm on the floor laughing, pissing myself. I would never date them though. I'm not going to wife them though.
Yeah.
There are consequences. Ladies, do whatever you feel like you need to do. But if you want to go and see what the science says in these specific instances, if you want the best chance of having a good relationship, look at the documentation that shows that when women have more than 6 sexual partners before they get married, the likelihood of them staying married starts to drop. Once they get to 20 sexual partners, it's below 17% of them staying in their first marriage. Right. Those are statistics. I know nobody believes statistics count for them, but everybody looks away. People in general don't like stats. Women specifically don't like stats, right? If you and I, if we were to start a business and I was like, hey man, we're going to start a business, 38% chance we're going to be in business 5 years from now. Right. We would never do that, right? Hey, let's get married. Yeah, 47% chance we're going to stay married in 10 years, right? We never do that, right? We never do those things. Oh, we're going to get married. 78% chance you're going to file for divorce against me, right? No one ever says that. Humans do not like statistics, but when you look at statistics, then you start to see when we have a traditional type of household, we're more likely to stay together. We're more likely to be happy and fulfilled in those type of situations. So far be it from me as a scientist, I call my, an amateur scientist, my hypothesis is what she's saying is correct most of the time. So if you can disprove my hypothesis, that's fine, but there is no ethical reason for me to tell you what to do. Do whatever you want. Just understand there are consequences.
Yeah, and it's what is the famous phrase? Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying right
there.
there.
Facts don't feelings.
And what I want to say too, it's our responsibilities as wives, as mothers, to not file for divorce. I mean, in the extreme cases of ABUSC, all that, that stuff. That is, I say, everything other than that, you stay. That's been we don't even talk about it. We don't even use the word. I call it the D word. We don't talk about it. We don't. because it is not a part of our, it's not a part of our language, it's not a part of our mantras, anything like that, right? We know we are working towards a greater goal, and we are a team. We have to work together.
Let's play this video real quick. It's kind of this ring right here. Go ahead.
Be the home. You're not meant to leave the home and try to make money for the home. Keep clean the house, the children, your speech, and your intentions. That is your job. Offer yourself to your husband. Oh, sex. It is so important. If there's anything that men are aching for and longing for, it's sex with their partner. Not another woman. They want you. Allow him to be masculine and create a good life. Be there to calm him through his successes and failures. Men will fail. That's okay. Be there for them. And when they're successful, yay! The role of women.
But this is essentially what you're saying. So what was your biggest takeaway, what she said right there?
Everything.
Be the home and just fully agree.
I fully co-sign that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think most women would co-sign with that?
No.
What percentage of women do you think would agree with what she just said there?
My group of people, my group of women, probably more than the average, but probably less than 20%, because we love the 80-20 rule.
I mean, girls on IG with 10K followers or more that go out on a regular basis, I bet the way she even said, and I agree with some of the stuff she's saying, the way she even said it sounded threatening to me.
Yeah.
Even the way she said, and I agree with her, and the way she was just like, you just got to be there for him. And she was saying it like it was slavery. And it wasn't. Like it was just a little bit frightening, but I agree with her at the same time. I do think that delivery has a lot to do with it, which is one of the reasons why I try to stick to science and statistics and not make moral judgments about people, because they listen more when you do that. But yeah, no, I mean, as far as like my group of friends girls in Vegas, 80% of the girls would disagree with this.
Yeah, Fosh, how about you?
I agree with it.
Really?
I do. Like, there are certain things that I agree with, and then on the other hand, I don't. But what she's saying, like, I agree with, and I'm fully down for my
Fosh,
man.
question for
and
you.
like,
So you're a model. You've been in this world. Go ahead, Brody. Let's go. But also, did you say you're going back to law school?
No.
You're not going to do that?
No.
Okay.
No.
But there's this...
So, like, I have a really strange upbringing. So it's like my life experience is a different than a lot of people. Like, I'm raised Christian. My dad was a deacon. My parents were married. My dad passed away when I was 21. My mother passed away when I was 13. So I have a really different upbringing than a lot of people. So I have a really like odd understanding and viewpoint of the world. Like, so some of the things that I had to do to get by in life is not a lot of the things that people would probably agree with, but it's okay because I don't necessarily have a family to like back me up or like, you know, anything. Like, I'm literally just out here by myself and I have to do what I have to survive. But like, you know, my dad did raise me, and I love my father, and I respect him so much, even in his death. Yeah, I do agree with the lady was saying, you know, listen to